Live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spilla's Sports Show tonight on this beautiful Tuesday evening. I am absolutely very honoured to have one of the biggest superstars from the Newcastle Knights, the entertaining Dawg, Nathan Ross. Check him out there, guys. We're about to bring him on live. Absolutely NRL superstar legend, entertainment machine, can score a try, as you would have seen his miraculous try I have aired today. Let's bring him on live. The Ross Dog, Nathan Ross.
Hey.
Hey, brother. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Good. How's things?
Mate, there's been a little bit busy of late, actually. Just started a new role back in the mining industry at a company called CH4 Drilling as the health, safety and wellbeing coordinator. And, been flat tacked. ISO has been a little bit difficult learning the first few weeks, I guess, from home in the home office. But back in the office now and, applying my trade there.
Well, Nate, Newcastle Knights superstar, mate. You're a very humble man. You're a country lad, born and bred. You're a very hard-working man. Tell us your rugby league story, mate, because it's very, very exciting. I think it's a great story some young guys out there need to hear and listen to as you chase and follow your dream very hard until you accomplished it, mate. So where did you start as a junior? And talk us about them young times leading into your NRL debut.
Mate, I guess I started off as any other 4-year-old around at the time before Xboxes and PlayStations and stuff like that. We just used to want to get down the park and play footy. So I played for a club called the Coogee Wombats in Sydney. And then I played my juniors there until about under 14s, and then had a couple of years off because I was too small and just enjoyed my surfing and whatnot. And then rugby league had a strange way of pulling me back, actually. So I was a little bit of a rat bag at school. And my mum ended up sending me off to boarding school, rugby union school called St. Joseph's College at Hunters Hill. So, I was playing rugby union there, and then a few of the guys that I used to play, we ended up playing Waverley, which was one of the old schools I went to, and bumped into a few of my old mates, and they're like, come play for the Wombies again. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And then as of year 10, I'd get my nan to ring up on a Friday or Saturday night and say that I was going to visit her on the Saturday or the Sunday, depending on where the game was. And I'd wake up early, get a bus from Hunters Hill to Central Station, and then a train from Central to Bondi Junction, and then a bus from Bondi Junction to the game to play in it. Yeah. And then same thing all the way to get back to boarding school. So that was the first little bit. And then after that, I finished school and I knew that rugby league was something that I wanted to do. I don't think I had, I guess, a full belief in myself that it was able to be done at that age, As everyone, it's always the dream, but whether I thought I was going to quite accomplish it, I wasn't quite sure, because I'd already been told at a very young age that I was too small, not quite big enough, didn't understand the game enough, because I was always a guy that, I guess, more than understanding the game of rugby league at the beginning of my career, I just played it because I loved it. I didn't know why things happened. I just knew that once I got the ball in my hand, I just wanted to run as fast as I could into whatever I could to try and score a try.
That's probably a big lesson for all our youngsters out there that are watching, mate. All the young viewers, you just played the game because you absolutely love it. How good, mate? Just that enjoyment factor, just being with your mates.
Mate, that's what it is. And, this was before they had all the videoing of the training sessions and understanding how to defend, block shape and what lines to run. It was legit just, two pass and do whatever you can in a one-on-one situation and try and get to where you need to be. But 2009 saw me move to the Gold Coast in order to try and play some semi-professional football. My father lived up there, and he come and watch me play some local league down in Sydney and was like, mate, you should come up and give it a crack. And as that not many other people might know, but my old man ended up playing about 12, 13 years in the NRL.
So he did, mate. He played for a few clubs, didn't he, Mark? He played for the Penny Panthers, Rabbitohs, and the Gold Coast Chargers back in the day. I think they were.
Yeah, exactly. But our careers couldn't be polar opposites. He debuted at 17, still in school. So while the rest of his class is off on excursions and that, Dad's playing at Penrith. Yeah.
Well, did he he played a bit of backs and forwards, didn't he? But didn't he end up finishing as a winger?
He's a centre, so he's a centre winger, predominantly. A little bit of 5'8", I think, but he's got horrible ball skills. So
And you
just
end
just
up
a
playing in the same position, mate, in NRL. Wow.
yeah. So just he was a lot bigger body than I was. Obviously, fullback was my preferred position, but I kind of just jumped in wherever I could in order to play and fill that spot for the Knights.
How
But
good, brother. How good.
yeah. So once I got to Queensland in 2008, I signed up with the Tweedhead Seagulls, and only played a handful of Q Cup games that year because I had some pretty good players. Or the feeder club for the Gold Coast Titans, and I didn't get much of a start. I got the Fogs Cup Player of the Year, which was pretty good for a team that ran last type thing. So I moved across to Burleigh in hopes to play a little bit of first grade. Queensland Cup, and was lucky enough to work really hard in the preseason and debuted round one and got dropped round two. But then was back up there by round four just from hard work, working on things that I wasn't quite good at. I guess a couple of defensive reads and stuff like that. And if you read the comments online, the defensive reads probably followed me all the way through my career. But yeah, but mate, yeah. So I finished the end of the 2010 season as joint top try scorer with a guy called Matt Ogden. He played on the wing for North Devils. Do you remember him?
Yeah, mate, I certainly do.
Used to wear a white headgear.
Wear wide head guard. He scored a fair few tries. Ended up finishing that winner Manly, I think.
Oh, did he, mate? He was a good player. So
yeah,
I remember playing cup back in the day, and Jack Reed was a guy I used to mark up against, and then he kind of set the platform. He played for the Bronx, and then Ogden was kind of one that I always wondered why I never really kicked on. But so after having a pretty good year in 2010, my career kind of came to a standstill. I was 21, working as a gym technician for my uncle, and footy aspirations had kind of hit a hold. I thought that with the way I'd performed in the 2010 season, that I might have warranted some pre-season interest from someone to try and press the career on. And I got a little bit down, and that's probably the first time I kind of gave up on my football career. So a friend of mine was playing down at Lakes United in Newcastle, and they were offering up jobs to come and play for Lakes. So I was like, you know what, sign me up. I'll go and start making some money, and I'll look at buying a house and moving on with my life. So I packed up all my stuff and moved down to Newey and played for Lakes United. And I didn't know, but they're the worst team in the comp by far. But they got a few blokes down there. So they got myself, Jackson Nicolo, Adam Fielder, another Queensland Cup player. So we all kind of come down and tried to lead their revival. But the Newcastle comp's pretty tough in terms of local league footy. So it takes
certainly is, mate.
It takes more than 3 players to, I guess, be successful in that competition.
Nate, did you come through any junior representative systems, mate, as a young fellow? Like, did you represent, any state sides or country sides, or were you in any systems by this time?
Nah, so my first representative game was I got picked in the Jacks Gibson Cup Bunnies team. So that was, just a local A-grade rep team that played against the Penrith district, the Cronulla district, and we kind of went into a round robin, and I did all right in that one.
And how old were you then, brother?
I was 19.
Wow, first rep team in 19.
Yeah, and it was just a local A-grade rep team type thing. And then, just literally the love of the game just kept me playing. No education. And like I said before, there wasn't the education around rugby league that there is now. I was just a kid that wanted to be out there running about. But I had ADHD as a kid, so and still got it now. Actually, ask any of my friends. But it was a place where I could just kind of express myself on the football field. Like I didn't have to worry about anything. No one was like, why is he running around doing this, doing that? Like on the footy field, you can kind of be whoever you want to be, and that's a huge thing that I guess kept drawing me back to rugby league. But do you want me to continue with the story?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, so I moved down to Belmont where I currently reside, and I was playing for Lakes United, and I got halfway through the season there, and I was like, you know what, like I still want to play professional rugby league. I've come down here, I've had a taste of just local league competition. It's a bit of a drop back from Q Cup. Like I think I can, make that next step. So signed up with Toulouse Olympic and went over and played in France for a season.
Which was amazing. That, mate? How'd you go with the language barrier? Was it tough?
Nah, just we parle un petit peu français. I still speak a little bit of French, my friend. So yeah, went over there, and I guess like Aloni Vunikesi was in my side. You know, he played for the Roosters, the front rower.
Yep.
I remember laying on my lounge room floor, and the winter sun was coming in through the balcony, and Lonzo and I were laying down there. I was using his afro as a pillow, and both of our missuses were sitting in the room too, and we're talking about, you know, how lucky we were to be playing professional footy in France, and what it would be like to one day play in the NRL. And we got there, and I was lucky that, you know, another guy over there, Guy Williams, was a huge impact
Yep.
on, I guess, he's another Queensland Cup great. But
Yeah,
he
he
was
played a
huge.
lot of Queensland Cup, mate.
Yeah, but he was a
Very
huge impact.
underrated, actually. I think. Yeah, I think he played like 250 plus Q Cup games and just went about his business week in, week out, and
Yeah, I think
hardly had an injury.
I think he played 6 games for the Broncos, you know, but he's just a
Yeah,
workhorse and just the professionalism. So he's one bloke that leaves no stone unturned when it comes to turning up on the weekend. And so that's kind of where I first got to learn my first little bit of professionalism was off a bloke like him. Came back from France at the end of 2011, or no, beginning of 2012, and started playing for Lakes again just to get my old job back in the mine so I can make some money. And I was playing with Matt Bartlett and Colin Wilkie and Texie Perkins and Jacko Nicolau and that still.
oh,
So a few
four of the best there, mate. Four of
mates
the
of
best.
North Queensland boys. So Silk
Yeah,
actually he's sponsoring the show now. So anyone that wants to jump on, there's his phone number. Give him a call. But so the
he's
Silk
actually
is
just commented in the Silks. Nate, he's got ADHD. That explains the Central Coast weekend.
Okay, yeah, I can't remember that weekend still. So Silk actually got me my first manager, or well, my first and only manager, which were the Orr brothers from PSM Management. And at first, Gav didn't want too much to do with me. Silk was ringing him, going, "Gav, you got to have a look at this guy. You got to have a look at this guy." And obviously, they're busy with all the stars that they kind of have, and they took me on just on Silk's word. And you know, after a while, and they saw me play a little bit of footy, they got a little bit more interest, and now still close friends to this day. But so I come back from France and played 6 or 7 games and scored, you know, 11 or 12 tries in the local league. And a coach called Rip Taylor, he was coaching reserve grade at the Knights at the time, and he took a punt on me. So he got he come down and had a chat to me with the guy called Ian Burke, so Bubba, and they're just like, "Mate, you keen on stepping up?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm interested." And at the back, this is the back line of the New South Wales Cup at the time. They had Kevin Nguama, Wes Nguama, Junior South, Sia Tonga, Licky, and Josh Manolado. So that is stacked back line, you know. Where I thought I was going to fit into the mix, I wasn't quite sure, but Rip ended up giving me a wing spot there.
Yep.
And moved Licky to the bench. He played a little bit of forwards off the bench, but finished that season pretty strong and got myself a pre-season contract for the beginning of the 2014 season, and work.
Were you still working at this stage, Nate?
Yeah, so I was working in the mines up until the end of 2013, and then I got the pre-season. So when Wayne Bennett was there and Rick Stone was the reserve grade coach, and so I got a 10-week contract. So I moved my shift to Black Crew, which was Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights from 6:30 p.m. till 7:30 a.m. So I'd leave training on a Friday arvo and drive straight out to the mines, work a 13-hour shift, get home, sleep Saturday morning, work Saturday night, and then I'd work from 6:30 Sunday night till 7:30 Monday morning, and then race to be at training at 9 o'clock Monday morning on no sleep.
How good that, mate. That's commitment. That's chasing your dream, isn't it? Making that sacrifice.
Yeah, I just wanted to do it. And look, some of it might have ended up being my own detriment, because around Christmas time, that's when Wayne Bennett told me that I should go back to the mines, and then I'd never play first grade. And for a long time, I used that as motivation in terms of maybe him thinking that I wasn't good enough, but it could have just been an evaluation of where I was at that point in time. I thought I was giving all I could give, but, you know, I was probably pretty fatigued turning up to some of the sessions.
Did you ever talk to him later on about that, mate, or just took it as motivation and just got to work?
Mate, made me angry for a long time. So I got told that on a Friday afternoon before Christmas to not worry about coming back and go back to the mines, because, yeah, rugby league's not the thing for me. And so I went back and signed with Curry. and broke my leg in the first trial. And I was just like,
Oh,
oh, God, really? Really? So, yeah, I broke my leg, and George Adira was the coach. But luckily, we had a really good team of blokes around me. So, like Daniel Abraham, Jesse Royal, George Adira, Regan Tanner, some ex-NRL
yeah.
players. They kind of got around me, and we had a whirlwind 2014. I've still got some good friends from this day. But I come back from my broken leg like round 4, and we're coming last, and we went on like a 12-game winning streak to go all the way to the grand final. And
Oh, how good.
oh,
How good.
it was unbelievable. And Curry's a town that just gets behind you. It's where I fell back in love with rugby league. So I had my rugby league dream stripped away from me just from a comment of being told I would never make it, and I believed it for a while, And
I
then
heard a little story about that local grand final you played in, mate. Tell us the
yeah.
coolest story.
But I've still got one of them here. I got worded up. So this is what the Curry Bulldogs kind of got. Where is it? They got made up. How do I do this?
How good, Nado? Yep.
Yeah,
Maggots
so
and faggots.
Nathan Ross is electric. White lightning.
White lightning.
So that's kind of where, but mate, it's probably one of my most enjoyable years of rugby league. So the baker turned the town red, white, and blue. So the bread for the week of the grand final was dyed red, white, and blue. So every morning a kid was having a Vegemite on toast and the Curry Bulldogs colours. It was crazy.
Just for the local comp A grade.
Just for the local comp A grade. So we had a signing session on
Wow.
the Friday night. Yeah, signing session on the Friday night for the game. We had 2,500 people go through the old boys shed and get stuff signed.
How good, brother. How good.
Mate, and for me it was surreal because it's just like these guys are so excited to watch us do what we love to do. And that's where I was kind of like, no, we're not giving up. We're going to go back. We're going to go back again. So,
So how'd you get the nickname White Lightning?
So Adam Bethridge was coaching South Newcastle Lions, and we played them in a semi-final. So South and West were your red-hot teams all year. And then you just had the battlers from Curry that just never gave up. We just turned up and we just turned it on. And so we're versing them in the major semi to go through to the granny. And then I ended up having an all right game. But, mate, like it was putrid. I used to peroxide my hair white, almost like pink, almost like, that Pink the singer, she has it that white that it's kind of, that off grey. So I used to do that. And he was quoted after the game. He's like, how do you feel? And he's like, oh, well, mate, what are we meant to do when they've got white lightning? Just referring to me. And it kind of stuck from there. And, if you give me half a good nickname, I'll make it stick to me. I'll refer to myself as it.
How good, brother. How good. Did they have a bit of a chant for you during the game at all? Or did the crowd get into it?
Mate, the crowd went into it. So they had signs like, I don't know, like as you saw, maggots are faggots. But it's not just that. The whole Coalfields get together. So when one of the Coalfield teams get knocked out, so Cessnock, Curry, or Maitland, if they get knocked out, then they're just going for the next Coalfields team. So it was ridiculous. It was up there with one of the highlights of my football career playing in that grand final, that's for sure. Yeah.
Good, mate.
And then after that, so 2014, I was driving home from work one day, and Rick Stone rang me, and he goes, "Mate, I want you to come back in." And Wayne Bennett was still the coach at that point in time. I said, "Stoney, I can't, mate. Like, I've got a good job in the mines. Look, Wayne's already said he doesn't rate me. He's like, look, I need a fullback for New South Wales Cup. I'll get you in a few days to train and whatnot, whatever we can kind of do." I said, "All right, what's the contract?" And he goes, 25 grand. And I was like, what? 25 grand?
25K. And
25,
you probably would have been on 100 plus in the mines.
Yeah, so I was on 120 grand in the mines. And then I got offered a 25 grand to go and play professionally. And
so you took 100K cut to achieve your dream. Well, at that time, there was no guarantee you'd play NRL. You're just making that sacrifice to give yourself every opportunity.
Yeah, I was so far down the pecking order. But my missus was pregnant with our firstborn, so Zaya. And then I was sitting in the car and I was just like, fuck. How am I meant to look him in the eyes when he's 16 and say, mate, when he comes to me and he goes, Dad, what do I do? I want to do this, but my dream's that. Like, do I tell him to just do what everyone else does and suck it up and get in the grind, or do I lead by example and chase my dream? So I rang work and I said, look, I'm not coming back. The last 6 days, I'm taking a $25,000 contract. So started training. Started training. I wouldn't say full time. Started to train 3 days a week, and then on the days off, the recovery days. So I'd wake up, and if I had footy training that day, I'd train, and then I'd work in a pub at the night time. And then when I got home from working in the pub, I'd study my work health and safety so I could get into the job that I'm doing now. And then if I didn't have training, I'd go and be a work health and safety admin person at Diana, who were really supportive of me chasing my career. So I was working as a work health safety role and admin to begin with. So just filing papers, working in a pub at the night time and training full time just in order to make ends meet and kind of better myself.
That's unreal, mate. That's the ultimate sacrifice there. You wouldn't have had much sleep time. It would have been just go, 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 go. No wonder you got
No,
AHD.
I think that's why the ADHD get me going. You know what I mean? But look, I had a real good support network. So Stu and Kat Smith, they're really close to me now. They own the pub that I worked in, and I'd come from. So if I was had to during the season, if I worked at Downer during the day, I'd finish at Downer, turn up at the pub in the Arvo. They'd have a feed there for me. Then I'd work from like 5 till 6:30, and then I'd have to go to New South Wales Cup training. So they'd let me go to New South Wales Cup training, still on the clock. They'd still pay me while I was there, and then I'd come back from Cup training, and then there'd be dinner there for me, and then I'd work till 12.
Wow, how good, brother. How good. That's fantastic
Yeah,
support.
yeah. So now, like I'm extremely lucky to have people like that in my life. I'll like it. It's obviously my dream to get me there, but the support that I had to get there, I wouldn't have been able to do if it was on my own. But yeah, and then 2015 rolled around, and Stoney became head coach of the
Yep,
Knights. And
he
Matt
did,
Lynch,
mate. Yep.
yeah, and I thought, you know what, I'm in. This is me, and broke my jaw in the trial, so I missed the first few rounds of 2015. So 2014, I had a pretty good year in the New South Wales Cup. Got like our fullback of the year for the competition and whatnot. And so, yeah, rolling into 2015, I was starting to get a lot of self-belief. And Sony was a coach that allowed me as a player to express myself on the football field. So I used to do backflips and front flips and, but I just enjoyed being out there. And, so played majority of 2015 in reserve grade. And then, unfortunately for Stoney, he got sacked with, 6 games left. And Danny Medeiros got put in as head coach. And he came up to me. I was actually driving to training on a Wednesday morning, and my car blew up. So the engine blew up, and I had to ring my mate Ryan Houston to come and get me. So is it TAFE? And I was like, mate, you got to get me. I've got to get to training. And Bedsy's ringing me saying that I've got to be at training today. And he's like, right, so he's left TAFE, picked me up, come and drop me at training. And then at the end of that training session, Bedsy goes, mate, you're playing this weekend. So, just another way that I had a good friend around me to help me get to training on time.
So that was the day your car broke down. You were on a great mate to get to training.
Wednesday
and
morning,
the coach,
my car broke down.
Danny Bedeiros at the time, gives you the nod and saying, wow, you're on this weekend.
Yeah, so Aku was injured and James McManus got injured. So Jack Marmo was playing on one wing and Chanel Matautia had actually played the week previous to me. So I'm just getting the charger. The week previous to me. And something happened there. And he's just like, Rossi, we need to change it up a little bit. Do you want to jump in? I said, do I want to jump in? 100. And it kind of just went from there. He took a punt on me and he's just like, mate, I love your energy. Just go out there and play footy. And ended up cementing my spot for the rest of that year. And Nathan Brown kind of came on the scene after that.
Who was the first person you told of that you're going to make your NRL debut? Because obviously you would have been extremely proud. Your dream's about to come true. All your sacrifices you made, it's all happening. Your head would have been spinning out of control. Who was the first person you told to?
So I didn't even get a chance. So what's happened was I've gone over to the ice bath to have an ice bath. And then Bedsy's come to the ice bath, and because it's just his first time being in front of their cameras as coach, they peppered him so much. Who was playing? He ended up folding. It was just like, oh, Nathan Ross is playing on the wing. So the news knew about it before my family and that did. It just couldn't keep it cool. Bedsy's too honest. He's honest as the day is long. So they put the heat on him. He just ended up telling the truth, So, but I rang my mum. I rang my grandparents. I rang my dad. And it was amazing. And then I played my first game against St. George Illawarra down there at Wynn. Scored on debut, which was amazing. And then I don't know, I just remember it. I remember having the ball in my hands and then putting it down. And they say when you die that your life flashes before you, you know. But when I put this ball down, my whole football career, every struggle I'd ever been through, just flashed before me. And I got up and I beat my chest and kissed the emblem for giving me my opportunity. But just like that moment can never be replicated. I guess it's up there with, you know, the birth of your children. It's just everything. It's just a situation where everything you've done has come to, you know, fruition. Crazy.
Well, unreal, brother. Absolutely unreal. Very spine tingling, mate. How were you before the game, like during the warm up and that? Obviously, like you said, you're full of energy and excitement. It would have been
Yeah.
you would have been just saying to yourself, "Wow, is this really happening? You know what's going on?"
Oh, sweet. So the best advice my old man gave me before the game, he goes, Nathan, don't get worried. And like the thing is, because I was running around in Reggie's for so long, I'd played most of these guys in reserve grade. So it wasn't as if I was marking up against people I'd never seen before. But my dad said to me, he goes, mate, same shape ball, same size field, just go out there and do what you do. You know?
How good, brother.
And it's right. So I didn't, but it was pretty funny. I was warming up and obviously 26 years old. It's a late debut. I still remember a night supporter goes, Rossi, Nathan Ross. And I turn around and like give him the nod and he goes, you're a has-been. I was like,
Has-been, you're making your debut.
haven't even played yet.
How good, how good.
Yeah, just give me a wave and that. But yeah, and then at the end of that game, the rest of the boys got to have recovery the next day and I woke up and went to work. So just back in the
the boys have had a few beers after the game and like you said, going to recovery and you're back on the tools worrying about, you know, the next job.
Straight back on the tours, making sure I got that income coming in. Yeah, so
unbelievable, mate. So you're 26 years old, you make your debut, didn't represent your first rep side to your 19. That's a phenomenal story. It just shows if you're willing to work hard, make sacrifices, dreams do come true.
mate, probably the biggest thing is that what anyone can kind of take from this is no one can stand in your way and tell you when you've done enough. That comes down to you. People might have their opinion and say, oh, too small, too fat, too slow, you know, can't catch a ball. But it's how you take on that information. So if that's their opinion of you, not what you can design yourself, you know what I mean?
Yep.
If you're struggling to catch a ball, work on catching the ball. If you're not fast enough, run as fast as you can, dedicate yourself, and the sky's the limit for you. Like it just be the best that you can be.
That's unreal, mate. So I've got a comment here. Is it true you argue with Bedsy to keep your spot in A grade?
Yeah, so in the NRL, Bedsy's come up to me after so Ku's come back the following weekend. And Bedsy's come up to me and he goes, Rossi, mate, congratulations on your debut. He goes, did a good job, but Ku's back this weekend and you're going to have to go back to New South Wales Cup. And I said, okay. And then he turned to walk away and I was like, I go, Bedsy, fuck that. I go, mate, I'm not copping that. And he goes, what? I go, I'm not. You can't drop me. I ran for more meters, made less errors, and scored a try. If you're picking this team on form, you have to pick me. And Benji turns around and goes, you're in.
Oh, how good, mate. How good now. That's pure passion. Love it.
Yeah,
absolutely
so
love it.
I was on the way out back to reserve grade and I still G Benji up about it now. And he's like, mate, you put the pressure on me. Like, what was I meant to do? So it just meant that much to me. And, you know, like I felt I'd accomplished what needed to be accomplished that game in terms of performance-wise. And then that was just sticking up for myself from there. Like I delivered what you've asked me to deliver. And you can't take it away from me anymore. So, yeah, I ended up playing the last 6 games, which was good. You got to win over Melbourne down in Melbourne. It doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, that's very true, mate. They're a force, aren't they? They've got an unbelievable system down there.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, but yeah, just to play against the likes of some of those guys was, you know, it was awesome. Sometimes, like I was out there, it wasn't more so after or before the game, during or before the game. It was more so after that I was just like, just shared the field with such and such. He used to watch this bloke flat tack.
Let's talk about Newcastle Knights' passion, brother. The fans, the supporters, they're quite fanatic, aren't they? I've got a couple of comments here from Reese and Aaron Moulton. They're Singleton boys. Shout out to them. They're great followers of the show. They're good friends with Steve Simpson, actually, former Knights player.
Oh, yeah.
He's quite good himself, mate. that one of the comments said, "Love the week when the boys after a big GF win. It was the best lockdown ever."
They would have had a lockdown, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of stories after 2001 there, and obviously I follow Matty Johns' podcast and that, mate, and
Yeah.
they talk about how the little town goes into lockdown and just absolutely everyone just celebrates and just gets on board.
Yeah, look, your support system here in Newcastle is second to none. Just for a long time there, we were running last, and we're still getting 20,000 people to the game. And you know, I'd make sure at the end of every game, win, lose, or draw, I'd walk around and thank everyone for coming. I'd thank their supporters. I'd thank our supporters. I'd thank kids. And just because it's hard to describe, but you're out there doing what you love, and then people love watching you do what you love. It's a crazy thing how it's just, I don't know, it's a special community. But yeah, the Newcastle fans, second to none, 20,000 week in, week out, and just continued support. They just always wanted to see us try our hardest, and when we tried our hardest, they didn't care about a result.
Yeah,
You know, so probably one of my fondest memories of rugby league is when we beat the Titans after like 300 days of not winning a game. I was lucky enough to get the winning try, but just, the town partied like we had just won a GF. Like that's how special it was for them to know that we worked our guts out and finally got a win.
got a great question here from James Coppins, mate. How's your emotion after leaving a great job to chase your dreams to get that chance? How's it all? What was the feeling you were experienced at that time?
I felt sick when I first made the decision, but because I had car loans, rent, had a kid on the way, um, a lot of responsibilities, just like everyone else does. Your phone bill, food bills, and stuff like that. And I don't know, but 25 grand doesn't get you very far. So that's why I had to work those other two jobs and study. I felt sick when I made the decision, but I knew it was the decision that had to be made. Because
Yep.
if I didn't do it, there's no way I can tell my son when he gets to 16 years old and he comes to me with a drama, or my daughter, and like, what do I do if I don't want to walk that path first?
You're
Yeah,
an
so I felt
outstanding young man, Nate. You really are, mate.
I
Such
felt real.
great ethic about you. Yeah, unbelievable. So, mate, let's talk about scoring tries because you could score a try. Let's talk
Yeah.
about you jump on NRL's best tries, right? There's a couple that really stick in my mind. There's a little cross kick that goes across. I can't remember who was against. It might have been St. George, I think. They put up a cross kick. You've got up above the winger. You're virtually near half flipped. Caught the ball, got it down one hand right
Oh,
in
the
the
Bulldogs. That
corner.
was the Bulldogs game.
Bulldogs, yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And the other one, mate, is a fantastic try, one of the best ever. You're about 5 meters out, got the footy in one hand. You've near done a front flip, put the ball down right in the corner on the stripe, mate. Wow. What were you
Mate,
thinking when you scored that try? I actually shared that video footage today on my page. What were you
yeah.
thinking when you were about to score that? You just backed yourself.
Mate, to be fair, Jacob Host scared the shit out of me because he's a back rower and I got the ball and I had plenty of room to work with, but didn't give him enough credit for how fast he was. And then I've looked up and I'm like, oh, far out. I'm going to get tackled out of here. Better jump. And then just took flight. And, mate, so a little bit of a fun fact. I used to be a springboard diver at school. And so quite comfortable being in the air and obviously the equilibrium of keeping the eyes open. But, yeah, once I jumped in the air, just locked my sight on a bit of the ground just inside the touchline and kind of just held my sight on that until I knew I could stretch the ball out. And yeah, but if I didn't get it, I would have been in some strife. The boys would have hammered me. So
What was the feeling after you scored it? The ref's gone try and you've got up, and obviously, like you say, you love to celebrate a try, punch in the air and grabbing the chest and the logo on the chest and that. What were you feeling then thinking, wow, did I just fucking score that?
but to begin with, I was like, no way. And then I kind of watched up on the big screen because when I did it, it all happened a lot faster. And I saw that I put the ball down in the in goal. Like I saw that I did it, but I thought I put it down like, half a ball of balls inside it. I didn't realize how close it was because it's all milliseconds. Bang, 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 bang. So like I was pretty stoked to begin with. But then we got the try come up on the big screen. I didn't get a chance to celebrate, mate. We were down by 10. Obviously, it was hard times in the club's, history. So it's just time to get back there and make sure that I did my next job for the team in order to try and come away with a win that night. Because there's no point having a good individual moment if the team doesn't succeed as well,
Did Brownie show it in the vision on the review?
Nah, Brownie wasn't too big of a fan of mine, mate. So he didn't like the showboating, and yeah, I don't know. I think there's just a couple of personality clashes there in terms of like one of the things that I used to like doing was walking around and shaking all the fans' hands and thank them for coming out. And I remember getting absolutely sprayed in the shed after one of the games. We were on the back end of it. We burst the Panthers and we got dusted and went around and thanked everyone for coming. Like they've spent their money and we dished up that. And got back in there, and he's just like, mate, who do you think you are out there shaking hands? And I was just like, mate, it's not about me, it's about the game. Like we just dished up a poor performance. These guys want to interact with the people that they've come to watch. So, yeah.
That's some good questions coming here, brother. I'm going to hit you with a few. What was it like to play in the city country?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So that came from out of nowhere as well, thanks to Danny Badiris. They're looking for players, and as everyone saw, City's team, were pretty, apart from Gal and, Nathan Cleary's kicked on now, on Chad Townsend, like, we couldn't, you had like blokes like me and Gower and Paulie, a couple of fringies, just floating about, doing our thing. And so I got the call up after I played against North Queensland, actually, the week before, and got the phone call, and they're like, are you interested? And I was like, am I interested? Of course I am. And, I was hoping that was going to be the start of, I guess, the next stage of my rep career. So there was Josh Adokar was in that back line. Clint Gutherson was in that back line. Myself, Tyron Peachy, had a pretty, some guys have kicked on to do some really good things from there. And I was hoping with a good performance there that I might have kind of had my foot in the door or at least been there or thereabouts to kind of start pushing for Origin, but it just wasn't meant to be, mate.
I've got this little cheeky mate. He's a mad little pom, but he's a great sports fanatic and a supporter of rugby league, especially up here in North Queensland. Andy Collins, mate. He's come up with a good question, actually. Who is the best player you've played with and against?
Okay. So probably a couple of the best players that for me personally to play with, and it might not be everyone's opinion, there's probably like Trent Hodgkinson. I love playing outside Trent Hodgkinson because he gave me ball. He gave me early ball. And that's something that I really enjoyed. And then, Mitch Barnett, Lachlan Fitzgibbon. And I loved playing outside Pete Matautia too. So they're probably like the best players for me personally that I enjoy playing with. And the best player I played against, probably JT or GI.
Yeah,
JT's a freak.
He is, mate. Ultimate competitor.
Yeah, and sets the standard so high in terms of being a professional and not taking anything personally and just playing footy. And GI's just a mammoth. I remember I had to mark him one game and had like had handprints on my chest for like a week.
he absolutely manhandled blokes, didn't he? He was phenomenal. GI. I remember him as a 17-year-old kid. His first 2 or 3 games in Q Cup back then with North were absolutely phenomenal. He scored some freakish tries, and his career just speaks for itself in volumes, mate. And my greatest moment of GI, how he just manhandled Jamie Sauer, just absolutely hating.
Yeah, so they're probably the two best I've played against in terms of just being able to control the game. Obviously, Cameron Smith's there, but he had the big three around him at that point in time. So these were 2 individuals in their own team which kind of carried them.
What about the toughest player, mate, you've ever come up against?
Toughest player? It's a difficult one because this can kind of be taken it anyway. But James Graham, he was tough, man. He was a hard man. He'd get in your face and say stuff. He was like so nice off the field, but he'd whisper things in your ear. You're just like, is this an action murderer? What's going on here? I want to smash you, boy. I want to smash you. I was like, oh, yeah, right. This is uncomfortable.
So, mate, there was a stage there in your rugby league career, mate, you were nearly coming close to signing with the Townsville Blackhawks up here in North Queensland.
I was. So that's before, that would have been 2014. So that was before Colin Wilkie was trying to get me up there. He's just because I kind of, once again, I kind of got to that standstill, and I was working in the mines. Obviously, I still had aspirations of wanting to play NRL, but also wanted to make, like, if I was going to try and chase it, I wanted to make money. And then it was almost going to be playing for the Blackhawks in their inaugural season. Was that 2014?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
sure it was. Yeah.
Yeah, 2014. Like I was, or 15. Yeah, I was on my way to one of them. Maybe it was 15.
I think it was 2015. Sorry, yeah. It
Yeah,
was
15.
2015. Yeah.
Yeah. So I took up the $25,000 contract in 14. Oh no, in 15. Yeah. So before I did that, I got the offer from after playing for Curry, the Blackhawks. I was going to come join them, but lucky I held off. I ended up saying no. I was going to play for Curry. So I actually signed with Curry again. Was going to play with him in the local league until Rick Stone gave me the call and was like, "Come on up."
Unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable. So, mate, I know you're a great family man. You've spoken about it as well. Got a couple of beautiful kids. You've had a loving partner that's stuck by you and supported you all the way.
Yeah. So she probably hates me most of the time, but she's there. Nah, she's good. She's been my rock through a lot of things, and as many footballers do, we have our hard times, and I keep talking about that support network. Like I'm grateful to have her and two beautiful kids. My son Zara and my daughter Willow, and they're probably people that I do everything for, and that's why I'm working so hard right now, just in order to set up for a future. Because my career was cut short due to injury, which is something I found pretty hard to deal with to begin with. Like when it first all come about, like I still believe that I'd still be able to play if my injuries were managed correctly. But we had a head of high performance that, probably overlooked some things and sent me for some wrong scans and stuff like that, which kind of ended up being detrimental to me.
So, you give the game away due to some serious injuries. Did you have much support around you, mate, from the NRL or from the Knights itself?
Maybe not so much with the Knights. Like I said, Brownie and I didn't really get like I wasn't his favourite person. So it wasn't as if they were kind of lining up to make sure that I was okay. All the boys still got around me in that. But yeah, like my family and stuff did, and the playing group did, in terms of like the coaching and stuff like that. Not really. The welfare guy a little bit, the physios and the doctors, they were really good throughout the whole process. But what I learned is that rugby league, you can be forgotten just as fast as you kind of came in. And
Yeah.
look, I was upset for a long time. So had a toe fusion, my knee operated on, and pelvis restabilization surgery once my career ended. And I wasn't ready to go back to the mines at that point. So I ended up doing some youth working for a while because my soul still wanted to give. I just wasn't ready to go back to, I guess, a normal job yet. Yeah, so I started working with at-risk youth who had been taken away from their parents.
Unbelievable, mate. It really is. Sums up, like I said, an absolute champion bloke. So, mate, what does the future hold for Nathan Ross, the Ross dog? Do you think you'll ever be involved with rugby league again in some role, or just be there for your children and your partner now, mate, and keep working hard? Or is there any other sports in the spotlight you might throw your hand at and have a crack at?
Mate, so I'm an undefeated amateur boxer. So I had an amateur boxing match once I finished footy. Like I've still got so many competitive juices flowing through me. So yeah, I'm actively competing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and boxing at the moment. So that's right. I've been pretty successful in the beginning of them, but at this point in time, yeah. So just being a health, safety, and wellbeing coordinator for CH4 drilling and doing what I can for my family, and like my kids are first and my partner's first at this point in time. But what no one really realizes is when you're a rugby league player, rugby league comes first. Training comes first, video comes first of the night time. So I'd eat dinner, my kids will be trying to speak to me, but I have this application on my computer called Game Plan, and you'd be constantly watching back your training session. Did I give up my inside shoulder? Could I push harder here? What should my pattern of movements been here? So you do that, and then you wake up in the morning and you train all day. So rugby league, and then you're away every other weekend, and your partner or your family need to, pick up the pieces while you're gone. So
Yeah.
Right now, it's completely about me giving back to them and making sure I'm as present as I can possibly be.
Mate, who's been a great influence on you in rugby league and life?
So I've got a few. I spoke about Steve Smith before. Also, a man called Mark Fitzgibbon. So he's been huge for me in terms of mentoring. My mum, my grandparents, my dad. They've all got. They've had a huge impact. My partner Nikia. But in terms of, like I've had people throughout each stage of the journey, and I guess it started with a guy called Flynn Donnelly, when I was at Coodgerang Wombats when I was 16, and he's like, mate, you can play first grade if you stick at it. That was probably the first time it got in my head that I was able to do it. And then after that was Rick Stone and George Nadira, and then like Guy Williams, Matt Lantry, and then Danny Medeiros for showing me the faith to play first grade, and then Brad Fittler for letting me play, or giving me the opportunity to play City Country.
How good, brother? How good? What's some good advice you can give out there to our budding junior rugby league players, mate?
And my only advice I can give young fellas out there playing rugby league is remember why you play the game, and it's all about fun. Until it turns into a professional environment for you, it's all about fun. Never give up on yourself. And then when you do start making those rep teams and stuff like that, don't be too hard on yourself. We all make mistakes, and you get knocked down. You just keep on getting back up, and you just keep trying. Don't let anyone else tell you when your time's up. Just commit to yourself.
So, mate, how does a bloke? Here's a tough one for you from myself. Full of energy, loves having a great time with his mates. How you going in lockdown? How have you survived?
Mate, going cuckoo. But I'm getting there. So I do fluid form Pilates with the missus now in front of the TV, do some sit-ups and some push-ups every day. We've got a puppy. Look, to be perfectly honest, isolation's been great for our family in terms of we've been able to work out that a simple life's good for us. So now every Saturday morning we get up and we go for a bike ride. Where before it was get up, go for brekkie somewhere, come home, laze about, go and do, we're kind of with each other without being present. And now my son's killing it on a bike. My daughter's starting to ride her balance bike. We're just doing more stuff, I guess, more adventurous stuff together, which is good. So isolation's been really good for us.
Mate, is there any special messages you'd like to send out there to any people that's been absolutely supportive? As we spoke about, you spoke about some great people who's been great mentors and influence on your sporting and life career. Have you got any special messages for them people out there?
Yeah, just thank you so much for believing me in moments that I didn't think I had it in me, in myself. And every single one of you, without your input, I wouldn't have been able to achieve what I was able to achieve. And there was times there where, my back was against the wall and didn't really have too many options, but you enabled to put some framework in place for me to kind of get to where I needed to get to.
Unbelievable, mate. You're a great man. I'm absolutely honoured tonight. You've given up nearly an hour of your time to chat with me, mate, the tell-all story. It's been absolutely amazing. I can't wait till we catch up. We've got to get you up here to North Queensland, brother, and show you around and that.
Mate, keen as Spilla. And this is the first, interview that I've done since I retired, because it was bit of a sore point for a while, but was able to get out there, and I'm glad that I'm able to be on your show and help you out, Spilla, and mate, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're an awesome bloke, mate. And I want to do a special shout out also to my sponsor partner for tonight's show, and that's Psychon Wealth. So get in contact with Cole Wilkie, guys, for all your investment advice there, and I'm sure he'll also put you in the right direction. I'd also like to thank my other partner in Emu Sportswear, EB2. Check out their number one sportswear company in the world, guys. Jump on their website and get in contact with myself, and we'll organise some gear for you. Also, just a couple more shout outs. I want to shout out to a great mate of mine up in the NT there, Matt Connolly, the Mango himself. Mate, he's a great follower of the show. He always comments and tunes into me. Appreciate your support, mate. He's a handy little football player himself. And all the Tully guys out there tonight that have tuned in and shared the post. Go to Tully Tigers. Thanks for all your support.
Yeah, the Tully boys.
Once again, Nate, the Ross Dawg, White Lightning, NRL superstar, brother. One of the best, mate. Absolute one of the best. Jump on and check out his highlights on NRL, guys. You'll see him in the top try scoring moments there. Absolutely entertaining. Thanks, Ross Dawg. Give us a kaboom.
Kaboom! Hey, Spilla. Thanks, brother.
No worries, mate. Cheers and thanks again for everything, brother.
Take care.
Well, there you go, guys. Absolutely entertaining interview with Nathan Ross, the Ross Dawg White Lightning from the Newcastle Knights. Once again, thank you for all your support out there. I just want to give you a friendly reminder, guys. You would have seen I shared on my post last night. For every like or every share for the next 2 weeks, get on there, be involved. We've got a great competition going. You'll win a free night's accommodation at the Mercure Inn in Townsville. Like the page, share the page. Let's build it up. Be part of this great team. Over and out. Spiller Sports Show. Kaboom.